And here is the Archelon in all of its glory, dude. This thing is much larger than I originally expected it to be. It does function. Oh my gosh, this Pegomastics, dude. Hold on a second. We gotta go kill this thing. I don't know what it grabbed out of my inventory, but we might need it. All right, what did you grab out of my inventory? All my trank arrows, you loser. Okay, anyways, sorry, back to the video here. Welcome back to the channel, survivors. Today we're diving into the brand new Archelon creature as it has officially released to the base version of the game, basically aka free for every single player without installing any additional mods. Now let's talk about taming the Archelon. This is actually a passive tame, very similar to other passive tames in ARK, where you have to put a specific item in the last slot on your hotbar and then swim up to it and then tame it. Now I have found it very, very easy to actually tame these guys when they are currently on land versus chasing them around in the water and potentially needing scuba gear or coming up for oxygen periodically. I was actually able to tame this guy by just simply standing on his back and riding him when he was on the land doing circles over and over again, which is actually quite funny. But a little side tip there: if you are struggling to tame one of them, wait until you either find one on land or try to get one on land and then start the taming process. As far as the required items to tame them, the biotoxin is going to be one of the easiest ones to get for any player just by simply killing jellyfish. You can shoot jellyfish with a crossbow very easily and kill them. Once you have a handful of biotoxin, put it in your last slot, swim up to an Archelon, and then you'll be able to feed it to them. And then the second method would be via superior kibble. This is going to be obviously the best way to tame them when it comes to the taming effectiveness and it eating food. So superior kibble is number one, but biotoxin is right afterwards for you guys to tame the brand new Archelon. When it comes to the saddle, you only have to be level 45 in order for you to unlock it, which I think is absolutely bonkers. Once you have the saddle officially unlocked, we're going to go ahead and place it on the creature, and just look the size of this thing, dude. This saddle is massive, and you might be looking at the top of it wondering, what are all those additional seats and oxygen tanks for? These 4 additional seats actually can hold 4 other survivors. And not only that, you, along with all 4 of the other survivors, actually do not consume oxygen underwater. Yeah, you heard that right. You do not consume oxygen, which I think is absolutely insane. If you can see here in my inventory on my survivor, I'm currently wearing nothing but flak gear. Even though I'm underwater, I'm wearing flak gear, and check this out. My oxygen is not moving, dude. I literally have 150 oxygen. I do have a level up. I'll go ahead and use that, but look at this. My oxygen is not moving at all. If I hit the back button, you will see I actually have a little icon in the bottom right-hand side. You see the little bubble icon? If we go ahead and pull up the character menu again, and I go ahead and show you my active buffs, it says the Archelon air bubbles. You gain oxygen when near a saddled Archelon. Now, what's really cool is let's show you guys one more thing, which is really awesome. If I press E and I actually stop riding the Archelon, the radius or the buff still affects me. Check this out. I'm not affected right now. I am currently consuming oxygen, as you can see, but if I get close to it, look at this. It will actually provide the oxygen buff. Look at that. Boom. I'm not even riding this thing, but just standing next to it, I am still receiving the free oxygen. Not consuming anything. I'm only wearing flak gear, and I think that is crazy, crazy overpowered. And what's even more crazy is it's not just for you, but all 4 of the other survivors riding along with you. So in general, this thing is a massive game changer when it comes to underwater, travel and resources. You can literally use this thing to your advantage without having a full scuba set to then collect whatever resource you want underneath the water. And now when it comes to attacks, the Archelon only has the standard bite. I haven't figured out any other attacks that it currently has available. The initial bite for the Archelon isn't actually really strong, but don't let it fool you here. This thing is called the jellyfish killer for a reason. If you were in the water with the Archelon and you are consuming jellyfish, right? Not only does it not take any shock damage or torpor damage whatsoever from the jellyfish, but 2, it has a giant attack buff when attacking jellyfish. You will do much more damage compared to attacking other things with the Archelon. But that's not all. After consuming and killing these jellyfish, you will actually gain a buff. This buff will not only boost your damage resistance from taking incoming damage, but also boost your outgoing attack damage, which makes the Archelon even stronger and that much greater of a deep sea underwater mount. Now, on top of those other abilities the Archelon provides, it has a couple of more that are really useful. useful. So the first one here, obviously, if you look at your creature and you press and hold E, you can actually claim what they call algae. So you can see here on the left-hand side, we can go ahead and collect that. And if we take a look at the algae in my inventory, we can see exactly what it provides. It says incredibly nutritious algae that grows on the Archelon. Most wild herbivores love this stuff. You can actually use this directly to tame herbivores across the map. So again, really cool just by itself. And as you probably assumed, that's not all here. The algae actually has a second use, and in my opinion, a much more viable use. Inside of a cooking pot, if you head over to the consumables section, crafted food, you will then see the algae sushi recipe. This one is going to take 20 of the Archelon algae, 10 long grass, 3 raw prime fish meat, and 1 white coloring. But if you guys happen to spawn some of this sushi, it is basically used to boost the lost taming effectiveness of a knocked out creature you're trying to tame. And this mechanic is really strong. I mean, how many times have you had a 145 or a 150 knocked out and something happens, right? ARK just starts arcing you, if you will, right? Something comes up, it's doing damage to it, and it's just losing its taming effectiveness, and more often than not, you're going to get upset and end up killing the creature you thought you were about to tame just simply due to the bonus levels being lost. Well, you can actually utilize this sushi, put it in the inventory of the tame, feed it to it, and then you can see it does increase the taming effectiveness. Now, unfortunately, it does have a limitation. Not only can you not spam this over and over again to increase the taming effectiveness all the way back up, there is actually a steep cooldown which looks to be of like 300 seconds. So you can't spam them over and over again. And secondly, it does not replenish the taming effectiveness back to 100% after only consuming one. It is a incremental application. You have to use it over and over again to continue to boost the taming effectiveness back up. So although it is a very useful mechanic, it is very situational. If your creature you have knocked out does take too much damage and the taming effectiveness falls too low, it might not be worth your time to wait and feed it sushi over and over and over again to increase its taming effectiveness, right? So again, just keep that in mind. But overall, though, the guy is a monster, and I'm loving this brand new creature, and I think it's going to be a game-changing creature for every single player out there when it comes to the deep sea adventures. And that, survivors, is everything you need to know about the brand new creature, the Archelon. And speaking on new things, if you haven't checked out the brand new Astrius Greek-inspired map, I highly recommend that you do so, and I have a video here on screen that shows you the top 10 base locations for every player.